All right. So my friend Kurson, Firelord Kurson, sent me this, and like obviously, like there's gonna be a lot of leaks coming out, a lot of misinformation. So I definitely say to people, you know, take this with a grain of salt because we don't know like what's really going on just yet. But this is over on a Reddit called Mortal Kombat Leaks. Now, apparently, this guy here has actually been quite authentic in the past, right? He's confirming Cap's leak, so that must be another person, about the playable characters can also be cameos. He says, by the way, I don't want to say the cameo info in op is essentially true. I do not know who the non-playable cameos are, but cameos can also be playable characters. Like, look, man, I'm a massive Mortal Kombat fan, right? And I know there are people out there who are MK fans who would just be like, I don't care. I don't care if it's like, you know, crap on a stick. I'll love it because it's got an MK logo. I can't do that, man. Like, I can't do that. I can't just go, yes, this is the greatest thing ever just because it's a new MK game. When I have, I am just, as each day goes on, I'm starting to have more and more misgivings about, especially this whole cameo system, right? It's probably going to be one of the things that absolutely destroys this game, you know, rather than just being normal, right? So anyway, he says he didn't want to give too much away, blah, blah, blah. He goes, I don't have any interest in leaking an entire game's roster. They do the things they do for a reason. It's not my place to mess with that. I already regretted leaking something last year and getting all this attention thrown my way. A lot of the op cap is not wrong, though. So this is apparently a roster update. Possible roster for MK1. So we've got Liu Kang, Raiden, Cage, Reptile, Kano, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Sonya Blade, Kung Lao, Katana, Melina, Cyborg. That could be like, I don't know. So just one of the, it could be like one of the cybernetic ninjas. Perhaps Rain, Fujin, Reiko, Tenya, Natara, Ashra, Havoc, Cassie Cage, Shang Tsung, some newcomer, some sorcerer, some voodoo lady. And this is the one I really hope it's not true. Like, I think... Now, again, all of this sort of stuff take with a massive grain of salt, you know, in terms of like, you know, could it be true or not? But even leaks going back, you know, like when I first started covering them a little bit, a year or two ago, some of that stuff has actually come true. And only some of that stuff has come true because it's the only information that we have so far, right? To confirm that it is true. Like, obviously, it's like, well, is it true or not? And it's like, well, when do they confirm, yes or no? So, how many characters is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So, less than half of what I hoped for is the Lord of the Rings meme. I don't know, man. Part of me is starting to wonder if the reason why they're doing this timeline is to completely do away with what we grew up with as Mortal Kombat. So then that way they can go, these are the new versions of the characters. This is now canon. The old stuff is old stuff and you'll never see that again. That's what really worries me, right? Especially when, and we saw this when MK11, whether you like it or not, certain things were changed about the game based on political climates, and I completely disagree with that. That stuff never ages well. It looks lame, cringe, and it's just completely stupid. Right? Now, it's nothing to say, like, if this roster was pretty much true, let's forget Cassie Chase, like, no one gives crap about Combat Kids, right? There are some good additions in here, obviously things like Havoc and Reiko, right? Now, if that's the case, I'm assuming that these characters are not, like, there's going to be a whole separate list of cameo characters, right? And like, it really worries me, right? Because of this, okay? Like, because of this system, like, if they just said, oh, you know, there's a tag mode, then, like, 95% of the worries about roster would go. Like, because then it would just simply be, okay, who's going to make the cut? Not, who's going to make the cut in one of two camps? This is, I think this is the thing that really worries me the most. Is they're going to put in characters and go, see, we've got every MK character in the game. Aren't you happy? So yeah, but my favorite is locked in a group that only comes out and does a couple of special moves and then disappears off the screen again. Can't shake it, man. I can't shake this bad feeling I have in my bones. Bad feeling about this game, right? Firstly, again, because it's a brand new timeline, are they going to then stick with, oh, well, you know, we're going to change all these characters completely? Like, completely. So that way, you know, you can, like I said, you can't argue with that because that's the new normal. The new MK. Better than the old MK, like the, you know, like the Coke. It's just like I know they haven't shown it yet, and so I am reserving judgment, but I have a bad feeling. Usually my instincts are right. Because when it comes to MK, and it's come to MK with this for a long time, right? They just can't seem to just get it. And on the rare occasion that they do get it, okay, which is rare, like MK9, it doesn't last long. Okay? This massive push, if again true, which more than likely it probably is, with the combat pack, like you literally have guest characters taking up spots as playable characters that should have been given to MK cameo characters in that list. Now I've heard theories like, well, maybe the cameo characters are just, they're kind of like bench warmers or some rubbish like that, you know, and eventually they'll be playable. I don't think that's the case. It's just, man, why can't you just make a normal Mortal Kombat game? Just be normal. How hard is it? Right? And again, reserving judgment. Hopefully my little rants will be proven wrong. But you've got other fighting games out there that literally give the effing player base exactly what they want with extras, and the MK team just goes, you know what? We're going to give you every character. However, the best we can do is stick probably half of them in a role because we're too asked to do what we did in MK Trilogy, MK9, and MK Armageddon. We're probably going to have the same rubbish choosing bits and pieces for our characters. There's already, like I've covered it already, like the Dragon Crystals, so they've already monetized it. Again, we don't know the extent of it, but if they're literally, like, they're probably like, oh look, MK11 sold the most of MK. Yeah, it sold the most because it was Mortal Kombat. Right? Doesn't make it great. People buy stuff all the time and then have, like, buyer's remorse. That's why so many people are unhappy with MK11. Because once they got their hands on it and realised what a pile of poo it was, and the amount of grind and rubbish in it, I don't know, man. I'm really worried, eh? Like, you know, it's been so long, you know, and like it's not like I'm a negative Nancy. I'm not trying to be. It's just that, you know, we're having discussions about whether or not, you know, a character that could be your favorite of mine is going to be playable. Not if they make the cut, just if they're going to be playable. So, you know, yeah, they're in the game, but they're locked behind a glass wall that you can't ever penetrate and take that character out of that glass wall and use them in the main game. You just got to look at them and use occasionally. And that really worries me because, like, it's just, they just don't get it. They don't understand their player base. They come up with these stupid things like swapping stances and then, oh, let's choose our abilities. Like, what the effing hell is wrong with you? Every other fighting game out there doesn't do that. Right? God, you know, like... And then you get this sort of rubbish, which I'm hoping is just a troll. Right? They're gonna panda. Is that they're gonna panda in a fighting game, right? Oh, what difference does it make? How does it affect you personally? It doesn't affect me personally. I just don't give a poop. What I care about is making decisions based on real world rubbish. When you're supposed to be creating a fantasy land with fantasy characters and fantasy fights and for the fantasy story. I don't give a crap about, well, now, don't you feel seen in our game? This is, like I said, like, this isn't the problem. Like, I'm not worried so much about that. It's just, if that's true, that's a character I'll never use, right? I don't give a shit, right? I'm never using that character. I'm sorry, I'm just not. Okay, I've got no interest in it. Okay? No interest in it, especially when I know why. And if this game is literally a lead on from what they've done with MK11, with lots of retcons and stuff like that, and then they do this sort of rubbish where, you know, they're going to be like, oh, well, you can have a cameo character, so you can be fighting a scorpion, then, you know, this character that you can never use jumps out and goes, and then disappears again. How the hell is that fun? How is that fun? Explain to me how that's fun. Right? Some of the best Mortal Kombat games outside of Deception, and people usually say Deception because of Conquest mode, right? The games that Mortal Kombat fans remember the most are the ones that actually give them all the characters. Or, in an instance like MK9, where it was like a reboot, right, like a sidestep reboot, it was essentially like Trilogy 2.0. So it was really awesome, right? So we got Trilogy as an end of cycle list of characters, and at the end of the 3D era, we got Armageddon. So we got all the previous characters, right? And then MK9, despite coming back down, was like getting Trilogy again. So it kind of didn't feel like we missed out, because it felt like we were starting back at the beginning again. And then MK10 just messed it up with their story and stupidity. And then MK11 just decided to say, hold my beer. And then we get Mortal Kombat 1. Like, who thought that was a good idea to rename that? Now you're going to have people going, have you played MK1? They'll go, yeah, I just bought it. I'm like, no, dude. Oh, God. You know, just the more I think about these little things, it's like a splinter in my mind. It's just starting to really grate my nerves about some of these stupid-ass decisions that could ultimately tank this game. When it should be a shoo-in. Just put every character in the game. Right? That's it. Everyone will be happy. No one's going to care. No one needs assist characters. Alright? Ed Boon admitted this is the longest they've spent on a game. Well, what exactly have you spent it on? Anyway. Again, like I said in the very beginning. Reserve judgment. Hope I'm wrong. But I'm starting to see a lot of people say the same stuff. They're starting to get really worried about this because it just seems really bizarre. Like really, really bizarre. Some of these decisions, you know. And again, we haven't seen it in play, but I don't know, man. Anyway, catch you next time.